Thank you for joining the Royal Buzz, your go-to podcast that's buzzworthy and dedicated to purpose-driven leadership, legacy, and authority-driven storytelling. Where Hive meets hype, listen to the magic, one story at a time. Today's episode will promise you'll leave feeling empowered, grounded, and future ready. You will walk away feeling less intimidated by AI and more confident in how to use it as a tool, not a replacement for human connection. I'm your host, Trena Myers, Miss Elite United USA and Queen Bee of the Creative Agency. I welcome our guest, Curt Tueffert, a professional speaker, professor, author, podcast host, and highly sought-after guest whose high energy delivery and real-world expertise make him a standout voice in sales, marketing, leadership, and customer service. Curt brings a rare blend of strategy and execution. As a vice president of sales development for a $2 billion industrial distributor, he works on the front lines of sales and marketing every single day, applying what he teaches in real time. His work and impact have earned him a Stevie Award, along with multiple industry accolades. In addition to his executive role, Curt is a facilitator for the Brooks Group, where he teaches and leads impact sales training and other professional development courses. He also serves as a professor at the University of Houston, teaching both sales and marketing strategies, helping shape the next generation of business leaders. If you're ready for insights that are practical, relevant, and rooted in real-world results, this is an episode you don't want to miss. Thank you so much for joining me today, Curt. I am so looking forward to hearing about your nuggets of wisdom and helping our audience learn more about the sales industry and how it's related to digital marketing and telling people who they are. So, to get this started, I would love for our audience to learn a little bit about who you are and uh, and what you have to share with them today.
Super. Trina, thank you very much. And I'm very excited to be with your audience as it relates to just the whole world of sales. And my background comes to you from about 30 years in the game of selling, whether it's in front of people, field-based sales, or managing sales professionals. I've had the opportunity for the last 20 years to teach both sales and marketing courses at the University of Houston and get to travel all over the country talking about sales, doing sales training, working with some assessment work to help people understand and create a baseline for sales coaching. A lot of the times, what happens is there's a lot of people who have to sell. It's kind of part of their value proposition from a digital marketing perspective or into the actual sales, and they don't have an idea or a direction where they're going. I can provide some services and some guidance around that using some third-party tools. So for today, I am very excited to lean into this conversation, Trina, as it relates to how we all sell and what sales might look like in this new world order, if you will, with automation and AI and all things digital.
Yeah, I myself can get a little geeked out with all the changes that are going on with AI and the digital world. So I'm looking forward to digging a little bit deeper. As a professor and somebody who travels all over teaching, educating, what are some things that you're seeing going on in the digital world right now?
Hmm, great question. The digital world makes everything hit the easy button, and we all love it. We love having information at our fingertips. We have to vet and validate that information to make sure it's truly real. We got a new player on the field and called artificial intelligence, and AI has helped in and hurt in the digital space as it relates to, is this real information? Is it accurate information? And wow, isn't this great? I never have to talk to another salesperson in my life. And I think we might be able to bridge that gap a little bit with a different view of sales.
You're absolutely right. I use AI all the time, whether it's creating a letter, whether it's creating blogs, content, etc., and having to verify because a lot of even search engines are now utilizing AI. So Google's no longer just Google, right? It's AI embedded. And so, what would be the best way that you'd recommend for our audience to double check, to verify this information?
Well, a lot of it has to go back to the old school research. We have to read again. Boy, as an executive, I can glance and skim things quickly.
Right,
We get
right.
so many emails, and sometimes if we're not analytical by nature, we'll just take it and run with it. And I think we have to go back to trust but verify. There's what's it called now? It's called it's not so much a hallucination, it's a quotation that is made by AI of a studious scholarly work, and it's not true. And what
Mm,
happens is we see these footmarks or these references, and we don't check them. And this was a made up person with a made up research paper, and it was generated in AI, and we run with these things. So we go back to this game of sales, if you will, and there's going to come a time when you have to actually talk to somebody, phone to phone.
no.
I know, phone to phone or face to face. And that's where the new enhanced sales techniques have to come into play, which is really, and I hate to say it, but it's all about building relationships and
Hmm.
maintaining curiosity. And that's what's going to differentiate from, can't I just order this on the web,
Right.
to, you mean I got to talk to Trina? Trina's a really nice person, and she's got skills, and she'll want to engage with you, and she'll want to read the room and say, "This person just wants data and get off the phone," or "This
Mhm.
person needs clarification and comfort and assurance," and your skill suite will allow you to shift and adapt very quickly.
Sure. So it's really, we think of AI as the easy button, as you mentioned, but in reality, we need to have that human touch and to understand who our audience really is and what they're needing.
Exactly. To understand our audience and what they're really needing. Whether it's from the whole pageant area or the small medium business area, whether it's trying to take your dream and make it into a business, gotta understand the audience, and so much in selling is all about what I would call pre-call planning, and that leads to the discovery stage. These 2 bookends, if you will, pre-call planning and the discovery stage, that really sets the tone and the trajectory of the sales engagement. Both can happen through email or texting, and they both can happen through face-to-face or phone/Zoom calls. But they definitely need to be talked about. They definitely need to have a place in the process.
So when we hear automation, it's really trying to use AI as a tool, for example, automation, but not completely eliminate the human touch.
Exactly. We've got, I'm gonna project here in the future, and we're recording this in the beginning stages of 2026. What I'm about to say could be antiquated by March.
Right.
Um, there are enough tool suites out there where I can get an inbound call, find out that the person is named Curt Tueffert, very quickly go to his socials, get a profile mocked up on his LinkedIn profile, his Facebook, his Instagram, and basically be able to coach and interface through AI. Oh, I'm dealing with this person here. He's got a pretty jovial LinkedIn page. He's got some goofy things. Oh, okay. So he's got some of this playfulness. And so I may redirect my dialogue in a playful modality versus
Mhm.
going to someone like Trina. Okay, she's serious, she's buttoned down, she's very analytical. I shift and I then feed that information through an AI chatbot or through an agentic service. And I change the information stream so it comes to the person receiving it with a little bit more customization. And again, I haven't even spoken to the person. I'm just going out there and using the tools to create these frightening AI profiles. Now,
So
I know that
somebody
probably scared the listeners.
Right, well, that's what was just about to say. So for those who are maybe intimidated by AI, who maybe don't wanna use it at all, what would be some great, tips that you can provide them to still be able to provide that same great sales service?
Trina, that's a great question. You can Google this. There's the 30-day AI challenge. There's many different variants of the 30-day challenge, and it's an easy way to ease into, okay, first thing you need to do is find ChatGPT, find
Mhm.
Copilot, find Grok, find Claude, and find Gemini. These are the anchors. These are the major ones. And then from there, the 30-day challenge will help you ask a question, do a query, and you'll get better and better. The whole goal here in this conversation is it's all about the prompting. The words you type into the AI engine is what causes the AI engine to respond and react to you. And the better we get at generating those prompts, the more convenient and useful the tool can be. And as you do the 30 days challenge, you become aware. If I was to ask you about the brand new car you purchased and you said, I got a brand new red Toyota, and I remember this conversation, and for the next couple of days, every car I see on the road is going to be red
Give me
Toyotas.
red. Right.
And the more that 30-day challenge becomes a little bit habit forming, then you're gonna find, "Oh, here's a prompt. Here's an entire prompt sequence that I can help reverse engineer a problem I'm having with my teenager cleaning their bedroom. Here's a reverse engineered problem on getting my spouse to not leave the dishes in the sink." As benign as that sounds, there's so many counseling type tools that help accelerate the learning curve so you can address those situations. That's simple. Now you take it and you go, how do I get this person? Who's my target audience? Who's my ideal customer profile? And you start feeding into this magic machine. This is my product. This is my market. This is my desire. These are my hopes and my dreams. Please create for me a detailed business plan. Boom. Please create for me a lead generator. Boom. And that doesn't replace your gut or your intuition or your cognition. It enhances it so you can make those minor course corrections and get your digital marketing out there and resonating with the right people.
So I think that you've made a great point is that you're using the AI as a sales tool in order to help maybe spark some ideas, create some momentum for you, and not necessarily using it to, as you said, going back and having to verify the information, the data. It's more for a tool. And just to remind our listeners too that if it comes up with some analytical data or statistical information, you just really want to make sure that that is the type of thing that you want to verify, correct?
Absolutely. As we talk about this, each one of these engines, these AI engines, are self taught, self learning. It'll get better at the statistical side of it. But to your point, Trina, you're absolutely right. Think of it as more of a guide rather than the the complete answer. I found myself using it to do some statistical things, and I didn't get the answers I wanted, but I redirected it to more softer, a little more broad brush. It would give me the information I need, and then I can challenge it and I can say, "I'm gonna challenge you. I don't necessarily believe what you just said. Backstop it with much more detail." And it'll go out there and it'll vet and verify. And again, it's learning to have a dialogue with an AI engine. It's the most bizarre thing I just said, having a dialogue. And again, I would rather have a dialogue with you, Trina, because you've got dimension and you can hear inflections in voice. If we were seeing each other, we could see body language changes.
Right.
You can't get that in an AI today, but you can get direction, validation, maybe some confirmation. So it isn't confirmation bias. It's like, this is the direction I'm going. Do you think this is good? Or this is the direction I'm going. Challenge me with 5 open-ended questions that would help make me think about my ideal customer profile. Now we're really dialoguing, and boy, I can then go back with, "Here's the answers to these 5 open-ended questions," and then the AI can continue to enhance and perfect it. And here we are, we're just small, medium businesses. We have a goal, we have a dream, we have a vision for what we want our business to be. And I don't really wanna have to hire a marketing company to do this if I can get pushed in the right direction using some tool suites that are out there today.
Yeah. And, I think that to your point, marketing and sales really goes hand in hand. And I, as I mentioned before we jumped on the recording, is I don't like to look at myself as a salesperson. However, we really are. Whether it's your brand, whether it's a service that you're providing, it really is sales of some form. And you're using that to help market yourself, to help market what the services that you have. So, one of the questions that intrigued me in your bio was why must you be successful in the sales development?
Hmm, wow. When that's questions asked of me, my immediate answer is, if I'm a CPA or an accountant or a lawyer or a doctor, I'm constantly learning new tools and learning new approaches to my craft. I need to be up on the tax laws. I need to understand the better operating procedure. I need to know this. I need to know that. Why must I be successful? I need to assimilate so much more information so I can be relevant in the world of people who are looking for a sales coach or a
Mm,
workshop leader or somebody to come in there and offer a 1 or a 2-day program. It's got to have that relevancy. And tragically, we see people who maybe sold in the '80s and now they're retired and they wanna take a stab at this game, and it's a little bit frightening. So why I must be successful is so I can add the value and connect with people.
I love that. That if you really think about it, sales and marketing is adding value to yourself, your brand, or the services that you provide.
Think about your podcast. You are adding value through your expertise on vetting guests so that you can expand your listening audience. You're building a tribe, and you're building a loyal tribe. And that loyal tribe will go viral, and that'll just add more loyal tribe members because of the
Right.
quality of the content and because you're using your brain to understand what marketing is out there. We've got websites, but now we've got chat and we've got the immediacies and we have all these things, and gone are the days of, "Trina, I've got 4,000 emails. Let me just bomb them for the next 3 months." And we did that 2 years ago. That was only
Yes.
24 months old.
Right.
But now in my world, you get blacklisted, you get blackballed, you get stuck in the spam folder, and nobody cares about your value proposition if you're bombing everybody.
Mm,
But what I'm finding, thanks to marketing, is what if marketing can craft a message for 20 people and then just individually somehow connect? your marketing message, your value proposition to just 20 people, they understand, wow, Trina gets me. She knows what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to enter pageants where I want to compete for a cause. And that draws on the heartstring and that draws on a niche. And you're going to get much more people leaning into that message because you get me, or you get the small business, or you get the person who's trying to juggle payroll plus marketing plus sales because it's smaller. The next 20, and then the next 20 and you refine and you A/B test and you keep A/B testing, and the next thing you know, you got some momentum, you got a cadence, and things expand. And that's what I'm finding is kind of the new 2026 marketing cadence is customize, personalize, but don't be a pest.
Right. Nobody likes to be spammed.
Right.
Yeah. So, in your role educating but also being in the real world, do you see any what I like to do is I look for opportunities. Maybe it's a niche, maybe it's an area that hasn't been really focused on to solve a problem. Do you see anything that could be a potential opportunity within the sales and marketing industry?
Mm. I would say give me 5 seconds to work with my AI magic to get the answer. You touched on something, Trina, which was perfect, which is my mission is to solve a problem. I'm not trying to create a problem that needs to be solved. I'm trying to
Right.
ascertain what is it? Where is the gap right now?
Exactly.
And then I use my discovery and my pre-call planning to gather relevant, like-minded people who may be facing that same challenge. What do you like? What do you dislike? What have you tried? What has worked? What has not worked? What are you sick and tired of? And if I ask 10 to 15 people and I start finding some pattern recognition here, I think, okay, y'all you guys are all having the same challenge. Here's your problem. Let's call it an issue. Here's the issues that you're having. Here are the action steps we can take to solve this. And then the impact. What is the impact of our actions on that problem? So it's what I'm calling a value proposition that's an issue, action, impact. Here's the issue.
Mhm.
Here are the actions we've taken in order to solve that. And here's why you should care. Here's the impact. People would go, wow, you've done your homework. You get me. This is where we need to be. And I think for sales and marketing, what I'm finding, my own personal one, Trina, is there's a lot of small, medium businesses who can't afford a sales training event, a
Right.
workshop. I can't fly my 4 sales guys to Florida for spring
Mhm.
break.
Right.
But what I can do is I can hire someone to do some Zoom-based coaching and for a smaller fee and have it Zoom based so it doesn't have to be during the normal business hours. It can be after hours. It can be
Mhm.
customized and it's a short engagement. And that might be the itch that can be scratched with a value proposition that says there could be tools, could help your people quickly so that you can recoup your initial investment in the sales development and then see the ROI in a short amount of time.
Mm.
But it's trial and error, and
Sure.
I think here's the magic, Trina, is marketing, and the world doesn't, and so they need you as like a Sherpa, just guiding them through this, "I just bought a list of 10,000 emails, let's go email them." No, 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 no.
Right.
No, 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 no. And your expertise is to say, "Hey, let's define the problem. Let's validate it that it's truly a problem in the industry that you serve. And then let's figure out how we can solve that problem in a way that resonates with your target ideal customer profile."
Mm.
And that business owner says, Trina, I wish I had you 24 months ago when I bought the list. And then
Right.
you just continue. That's your niche, that's your boutique marketing.
Absolutely. So, what would you say besides having AI as a skill set, what would be another fundamental skill that you think individuals who are needing to sell a product, a brand, a service, what are the skills that they're needing to be successful?
Great question. I hope your listeners are really starting to lean in on this. The skill would be the art of asking great open-ended questions. Now, before you can ask those questions, you have to build a relationship. You have to build trust and rapport. And I always refer people back to Jerry Acuff in his book, The Relationship Edge in Business, because he has taught me and I have used his ideas that once I build some trust and rapport between you and I through common ground, through analyzing some social media profiles, then I can ask permission to ask these targeted, open ended questions. This is the discovery phase of a sales process. I don't know if I have a product or service that fits what you're looking for till I ask you a few questions. Do you mind
Right.
if I take 15 minutes to ask you those questions? Some of them may be a bit on the uncomfortable side. So you've
Hmm.
already teed up to your prospect that this is going to be an interview, a discovery, and you're going to ask them some tough questions as it relates to issue, action, impact. What have you tried? What has failed? What if you didn't do anything? Where do you want your business to go? Now, you can't just go in there and start peppering them with questions if you haven't built any trust.
Right.
And so therein lies what skills the new sales frontier is demanding. Learn me, get me, understand me. ABC, always be curious, and then ask permission to have that discovery call, and then ask those questions, and then follow them up. When you say this, what do you mean by that? I've heard this before. How does that fit with you? So let me understand if you didn't do anything in 2026, what are your sales going to be like in 2027? And
Hmm.
again, you're being a really kind of intrusive doctor. But the bottom line is you don't want this person to leave still feeling sick or unwell. So you're going to ask them the tough questions so at
Right.
least they have hope. And again, I just don't see that. I see people kicking down the door and saying, "Let me tell you about my marketing services. We do this and we do this and here's our client. Here's this and we do this and we do this." Never do they ask, "Hey, do you mind if I ask you some questions?"
Right. Oh, 2020 was a very unique world. And a lot of individuals who graduated high school, college, etc., didn't get the experience that probably most individuals who have gone to college or university had. I myself finished my master's degree online. I did have to do some in-person courses in my doctorate, but most of it was online. So it did give me the opportunity to experience both in person and online education. But what I've encountered is when I've engaged with individuals who graduated from high school or college during that time, that their interpersonal skills may be a little bit more challenged. And perhaps that, they have the most desire to be an entrepreneur, but they didn't learn those skills because of all that change that went on in the world for a couple of years. What would you recommend to somebody who maybe needs to strengthen those skills?
Wow. And I taught online during that horrible 2020, 2021 to undergraduates, and it was absolutely crucial. There is a For those who are listening who say, my skills on conversation aren't where they need to be, just go old school. A great book from Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is a
One of my
great place
favorite.
to start. What a great book. Now,
It really is.
it's an intentionality. I'm old. I mean, I'm 6 decades old, and I want to get better at my communication skills because I got a lot of gas in the tank, and work in a career that doesn't have an expiration date.
Right.
So I would say to those people who struggled through the COVID years, who want to enhance their communication skills is there are podcasts, there are TED Talks, there are books, there are videos that help. It doesn't take much besides a want to. When the why gets stronger, the how gets easier. That was written by Jim Rohn, an old motivational speaker back in the day. When the why gets stronger, the how gets easier. When your why do you want to get better in communication? Because I want to connect with people, because I want to be more curious with people, because I want to be more effective. When that why gets stronger, then your ability to read or watch or listen to some of these free resources out there becomes easier. And tragically, I say the same thing to all my sales clients is if your why isn't strong and you don't believe in your product or your service, then you'll fold under the first objection. You'll make an excuse not to work today. You'll try to find an easy way out when it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it.
Mm, love that. Now, I want to switch gears as we're kind of pulling this conversation to a close. Wanted to ask you something a little more on the fun side. Not that I mean, I love marketing and sales, but not everybody does. But I wanted to know if you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently?
What a great question. If I had to do all over again, well, okay, I'm gonna steal this. This comes from a survey that was done many, many years ago. They asked a group of nonagenarians, people who are over the age of 90 years old, if you had to do all over again, what would you do differently? And the 3 most common answers to that question to this group of people who are 90 years old, this was done in the 80s. So these people were born in 1890. They would risk more, they would reflect more, and they would do more things that would outlast time. And I could definitely tell you that in my early years, I wasn't a big risk taker. And I tried to journal, and I don't know, maybe I'm stereotyping, but guys and journals that they don't go together too well. And I would do more things that would outlast time. That's a grand mission and a grand vision, and so I would parrot that. I would say, "No, I'm just gonna take these nonagenarians and copy them," and I would risk more, I would reflect more, and I would do more things that would outlast time, Trina.
Mm, you would leave a legacy.
Yes.
Wonderful. So, Kurt, as we're wrapping this up, is there any last words of wisdom you would like to leave or anything that you'd like to share that we haven't brought up yet?
I think and again, anyone who's intentionally listening to this, you're here for a reason. You didn't stumble upon this podcast. This isn't something that you're just kinda dabbling. You're curious, you're intentional. So I'll steal another quote, and this one comes from Dr. Martin Luther King. "Do your job so well that the living and the dead and the not yet born could do it no better." And as we kind of burn 2025 and we open up our calendars at 2026, doing your job so well, whatever your job is, mom, dad, spouse, partner, employer, employee, student, do your job so well that the living, the dead, and the not yet born could do it no better. Leave that mark. Do the hard things first. And you know what? You will stretch way beyond what you think you're physically capable of doing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insight, your wisdom.
Thank you, Trina.
Today's episode reassured that relationship driven sales still matter more than ever, and it motivated you to sharpen your interpersonal and communication skills, challenged to stop relying on one size fits all marketing and start listening deeper. It encouraged to ask better, open-ended questions that build trust and insight, and inspire to keep learning, adapting, and evolving to stay relevant in a fast-changing digital world. Ultimately, the audience was left with a renewed belief that people buy from people. Curiosity is currency, and success in sales and marketing comes from blending technology with authenticity, strategy with empathy, and innovation with connection. If anything resonated with you and you'd like to continue this conversation, go to my website at creativehq.com. That's CRE8 TIVEHQ.com/The Royal Buzz Podcast, where you can sign up for our newsletter for upcoming events and to apply to be a guest on the show. Thanks again for tuning in to The Royal Buzz, where you will discover inspiring stories, empowering discussions, and a whole lot of positivity.